and welcome to Banking Frontiers. We are here for a interesting insurance and insure tech conversation. And this has been very close to my heart because the insurance industry is really trying to be keeping pace as one of the fastest growing sector in the world, especially in a country like India, which is growing beyond 6% as per some of the global estimates of companies like Deloitte or some of the researchers of insurance, which is happening globally. And compared to any of the countries in the West or any of the countries in the East, India has been showing a lot of interesting pace of growth. And in center of it is one of the leading insurer of the country in the area of life insurance, that is HDFC Life. And I am talking to Rohit Kilam, who is the Chief Technology Officer and has been an innovator himself. Rohit, welcome to Banking Frontiers.
Thank you so much for having me here.
Wonderful. So, Rohit, we have been seeing a lot of surge in the growth of insurance sector, and especially post the pandemic, this surge in the life insurance has been phenomenal. I just wanted to understand from you what has been the latest business trend, because the kind of population, geographical, or the situation of the population today, which is aging in India as well as globally, with that and a lot more of young workforce which is growing in a country like India, which is anyways one of the largest young workforce. How is the life insurance industry looking in it, and what kind of opportunity you see in the immediate, near, and long-term future?
Thanks to the pandemic, people have become bit more conscious about life as its value,
Mhm.
and people understand the risks involved, and that has brought the protection as a service much closer to the subconscious mind from a consumer standpoint, and they have started thinking about various policies around. So there are policies which are there are younger generation who's looking at investments and protection. There are population which is thinking of pure life as protection, or there are people who are looking at retirals very closely now, and especially with the fire FIRE trend, which is coming up very uh, people are talking about, how do you retire early,
Mhm.
right? So people have started thinking through, how do I build for my retirement savings? So that's the third piece which is coming up. And that is also coupled with the fact that we are moving to a situation where people are going to live much longer thanks to the benefits of the healthcare system and advancements in the medical technology. And the number of people, the population in the cohort 60-65 plus is going to increase phenomenally in the next decade going forward. How do you plan for this? It's a complete mindset shift. How do you plan to live without a working life for 3 decades going forward? And that's the mindset shift people have started thinking about. The costs of healthcare is going up, the costs of living are going up. How do you protect yourself from in those eventualities? And that's where life insurance is picking up in future. So that's the trends that I see coming up in the next, if I have to talk about the decadal growth that is coming up. Having said that, that doesn't mean life insurance penetration in India is anything to talk about, right? But life insurance is still in single digits, and it is important to percolate life insurance beyond to the working population, and especially the retiral products to populations which are still in the informal economy. That's extremely important going forward. When I say informal economy, people who live not on daily salaries, who do not live on salaries, right? Who live on daily incomes. How do we percolate and build products, protection products for them going forward? It could be health, it could be life, it could be a bundle together. The other trend is obviously getting the health and the life products together. They both are very well linked. And the third trend is obviously around the product innovation that is going to happen with the ecosystem coming together. It's not only protection, it is also proactively telling you to live a healthy life with the ecosystem that you are in. So that's why the businesses, so there are a lot of product innovation which has happened. There will be more product innovation which would happen in these areas going forward.
Interesting. Any new trend of products that you have seen that have come in the recent past or that are in the pipeline today, which is really going to be out of the box from an insurance perspective in India? Now that the regulator has also allowed insurance companies to, come out with the products and later on seek for the approval and things like that. Has that been bringing out any major change, any new product or any new trend due to this kind of policy by the regulator?
No, so product innovation is on the forefront in this sector. We need to increase that. I think as an industry, we've been looking at least 10 to 12 products across,
Mm-hmm.
right? And these have been in the areas of specifically how investments and life insurance, and specific other one being on the wellness side, and the third on the pension side. All the three areas we've seen multiple product innovations.
So one important thing is today, most of these products that are being brought out or innovations that are being brought out are basically backed by the technology. And technology plays quite an important role in any of this innovation. So what kind of technologies today are trending in this product innovation and especially in the insurance sector, which really are going to create an impact in the immediate and longer term for the industry?
Technology is a real enabler in this insurance industry. Let me focus first on the life insurance. Life
Mhm,
insurance is a long-term industry, right?
mhm.
Unlike payments or which is
Correct.
very transactional, or lending, which is on an average 20 years if it's a home loan. Otherwise it's even lesser, like 3 years if it's any other type of loan. From a technology standpoint, key element here is data,
Mhm,
and how we plan and build around data is the technology that people are going to focus more and more on. That could be how do I ensure that I get in that multiple sources of data into my existing sources, so I can understand and know the customer better. It's not I at the time of issuance, it's all through his life cycle. I need to know the data on to offer additional products or to service him better, both these reasons. So data is being extremely important. And from a technology standpoint, when I'm looking at data lakes, I'm looking at analytics built on top of data. I'm looking at customer 360s. I'm looking at data to be used from a use case standpoint to service the customer better. And there could be ways to service the people from right in the front, that I'm able to hyper personalize my interactions using data, or to be able to almost the latest in from a technology standpoint is like talk to your insurance policy, right? It's almost like a chatbot, and you do not need to read your 5 pages of insurance policy. You can almost chat and figure it out. So the insurance chatbot, which can talk to your personal insurance policy and tell you specifics of what you would like to know at that point of time, right? So that's the hyper personalization part of it. And then third part of it from a technology standpoint is embedded insurance, open insurance, right?
hmm,
That's something that we're going to. Embedded finance is a topic which is extremely important, because finance is the means. You're trying to achieve something through finance. In protection is for a specific value, right? You're protecting some value, so it has to be embedded in that value system wherever it is. So it could be for life, it will has to embedded into where the customer is embedded into the source. For example, in next 3 years, if you have an appless phone, you would definitely move to an embedded insurance where you can talk to your uh, to a virtual assistant, and be able to get micro insurance for a specific time or a specific value going forward. So that's the innovation, and that's where embedded insurance will take you. And that's also the open insurance framework in that sense. So you act as a manufacturer, and from the manufacturer, you're able to distribute so you become API as a product. Your insurance companies will become API factories in that sense.
Interesting. In fact, the insurers have gone ahead from being from illness to wellness, and they have
Correct.
really trying to innovate in the market and see how they can inbuild wellness into their illness so that they can be made further more lucrative. And I think embedded finance is going to be definitely the future of most of the companies. When you speak about being an API factory, on one side you are saddled with a lot of legacy technologies also, which you cannot throw out today. Okay, there is going to be a lot of cost that you have already incurred in that, and at the same time, everything is not redundant, and you need to modernize certain things, or you need to put a jet engine to your bullock cart so that it flies like a rocket. Okay, so what are the kind of modernization work that is happening? Because most of these organizations have got an inbuilt core insurance platform and things like that. So how do you transition into this new API world, the new transformation and digital world?
There are two ways of looking at core systems. I don't call them legacy. They are core. They're systems of record. They're not legacy in any form.
Mm-hmm.
They're not technical debt in that sense, right?
Okay.
They are core systems. When you're talking about core systems, you're looking at a system which is solid foundation. What you can do is you can follow the core system. There's one way of looking at it. The second way of looking at it is having a bimodal core system. Bimodal means you build a completely new stack and an old stack, both run together. Other way is you shrink the core system. You take the key functionalities out, whichever is allowed to, which you can take out, and slowly shrink the core system and leave it to the only for the core functions.
Wow.
You move the custom. You don't need a customer data in that, right? Probably you move the customer data out, right? And you can your systems of engagement can talk to the customer data outside the core system. One other way, the product configurators, right, that can be moved out of the core system. So we are currently looking at product configurators which are outside the core system. That is the other way of looking at the core system. Third is the transactional histories, which may not be required. There can be moved to the data layers, unified data platforms that you can move. So move the core data into unified data platforms, right, where you can keep the golden copies of the data going
Record.
forward. Yeah, so there are various ways in which you can shrink, or the other methods is to create a bimodal structure of the core, where you create a completely new stack, right? And that also has been tried in the financial instance, right? You create a bimodal stack, and you have one stack which is the completely digital stack servicing the digital side of economy, and one which runs on its own, which is but then the cost of running both the thing, you have to do the cost benefit analysis.
And again, it is also a mid-air refueling for that purpose, because you have to basically run both the systems and they have to integrate with each other. And the frictionless experience is also something that may be a matter, because at the end of the day, the customer should not realize the kind of undercurrents because of the technological integrations that are happening between
Correct.
both systems.
Yes.
In the recent world, the buzzword is that of AI, open AI, generative AI on one side. On the other side, there are a lot of concerns related to privacy related to these kind of technologies as well. What kind of turn do you see the business taking with the implementation and adaptability of this, and what risks you see in the foresee in the future because of this?
So generative AI has multiple risks. So there is one part of it in which you expose generative AI directly using your data to your stakeholders, your partners, your customers, right? But then you have to be 100% sure that there's no hallucination.
Mm-hmm.
What happened to Gemini, for example. So
Mm-hmm.
If you're not sure, you rather use it in the assisted Gen AI mode where it helps you to service the customer better rather than talking straight away to the customer till the time you're 100% sure it doesn't have a hallucination going
Hmm.
forward. Right? That's the way mid way to move towards Gen AI. But the second part of it is the cost part of it, which very few people understand. As a technologist, the cost of GPUs is huge, and the cost benefit hardly fits in most of the business cases for generative AI.
This is like once upon a time what cloud was. You would adopt cloud and then you will see that it becomes a giant.
So it's extremely expensive to use generative AI, for example, unless you have a very good business case and a return on investment.
That analysis is more important.
Extremely important. Whole issue around data privacy and how your data doesn't get used. So how do you ensure that? Well, there are players which have ensured that you can use it within your cloud, virtual private cloud. They're giving it as a service. That has been taken care of, but people still are quite wary about how the LLMs are getting used. So people are actually trying to remodel large language models to small language models which are specific for their purpose, which are more economical and will fit in their business case. So
Super.
movement from LLM to SLM for your enterprise is extremely important.
Interesting. There is another very interesting thing that has come with the DPDP Act that is coming up into the force in the country today, that a lot of insurance sector has got dispersed data with a lot of agents on one side, brokers on the other side, a lot of stakeholders in the organization trying to access all these data. How is it that the insurance sector is grappling with it, and what kind of tools are actually helpful for insurers to ensure that they adhere to the strictest norms in these data privacy things?
So Data Privacy Act has been passed, but the regulator is yet to come out with the standard practices for it. It involves a couple of key things. One is the consent layer. The
Mm-hmm.
consent has to be extremely clear. You have to take consent of the customer to ensure to use his data. The consent has to be for a specific purpose, for a specific time frame, for a specific product. That's extremely important. Second, your right to forget has to be implemented in the systems. That means if my customer says, or if my lead customer says, I have a right to forget, please delete my data. I'll have to go back and tell him, yes, I have deleted it.
Oh.
Right. So that's the other part of it from a right to forget standpoint. And
Mm.
the other guardrails around this entire system, how the data is shared, how it is encrypted, how it is, that's the other part of it that we need to specifically take care from the Data Privacy Act standpoint. It's a huge engineering piece of work that needs to be done.
It is a lot of automation required, lot of tools required to
Yes.
probably help the organization to embed it grounds up into the organization. How do you see the industry moving towards now with the Swiss Re report and Deloitte report and all this saying that India is in the cusp of its growth trajectory and things like that. So, what do you see things taking us immediately into the accelerated growth path? And where do you see the growth accelerators which can power the sector?
The key growth accelerators in this sector is obviously creating innovative products so we can move towards the base of the pyramid from the
Mhm.
top of the pyramid. That is the key thing. And for that, both awareness and product innovations are extremely important going forward. Distribution, yes, there is distribution. I'm assuming that there is good and enough distribution which the entire financial system already has built in across.
Superb. And to wrap it up, all, what is in your technology agenda in the near time frame?
We would love to see the usage of data and analytics going forward. From a data privacy, obviously, it's important to ensure that we are within the guardrails of data privacy. That is extremely important from our standpoint. That is the second point. What I'm yet to see, and I would love to see in insurance industry, is blockchain, because the way data is getting shared across life is a long term bet, and I think we could better utilize blockchain in this aspect going forward.
Great. Thank you very much for being a part of this show.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me here.